Ever get the feeling you've been cheated?
Oh, I feel so much better when I do something bad. When are you goody-goody fools going to understand? I am completely and utterly evil. I live to be bad. You see, that is, he hates me. But what is more important, he fears me. That's the way I like it. You can trust someone who's afraid of you.
Nancy Pelosi, the Marie Antoinette of modern politics, is an 81-year-old career politician. She is the very definition of the white privilege the Democrat Party drones on about constantly. Her own net worth is over $120 million. Nancy and her husband Paul Pelosi have an estimated net worth of over $200 million, depending on the value of real estate, stock investments, and other private assets. This woman of the people didn't rise from poverty, but inherited wealth from the patriarchy of her father. He was a Democrat congressman from Maryland and later became the mayor of Baltimore. Nancy, while not as dangerous as ideologues like Obama, is an old-school Democrat whose focus is more on power and money. Nevertheless, she is a cancer on American politics and is the best example of all that is wrong with establishment Democrats in Washington. There's so many issues with Nancy it's hard to know where to start. Her breathtaking hypocrisy on mask mandates and social distancing is probably the thing that provokes me the most, but it's her financial history and relationship to China which makes her a true danger to America's future. In 2021, Nancy's husband cashed in on big tech just as Congress was about to pounce. Even though it's illegal for Congress members to trade based on public information gathered during their official duties, it's hard to charge members of Congress with insider trading. Using family members to enrich themselves is very relevant due to Hunter Biden's blatant profiteering from his father's position. Something needs to be done about politicians enriching themselves in such a grotesque manner. The Pelosi's made 7 figures exercising options in tech companies she regulates. This is blatant insider trading. This isn't the only example of Nancy being crooked. Back in the 2000s, Pelosi allegedly gamed financial reforms to boost her personal stock portfolio. Pelosi delayed bringing to the House floor a bill to end lucrative swipe fees for Visa and other credit card providers. The bill couldn't have come at a worse time for Visa. It planned to launch an $18 billion public stock offering, so stalling Congress became a priority. Visa pumped cash into Nancy's re-election efforts, earning its CEO a rare one-on-one meeting with the Speaker. At the same time, Visa offered her husband a VIP cut of the IPO. Paul Pelosi jumped at the offer. The total value of their investment was about $5 million. In the end, the legislation Visa fought, starting in 2007, was forestalled 2 years. Suspect payments don't just come in through the families, they're mainly given through campaign payments. Pelosi is a formidable force within the Democratic Party, raising more money than any other congressional Democrat, over $100 million. She can use this money to keep the House Dems towing the party line. According to Congressional Quarterly, House Democrats voted with the majority of their party 88% of the time in 2005, the highest total ever recorded. Some would argue Democrat principles are bought and paid for, but shame on you for thinking politicians are so easily corrupted, although $100 million can buy a lot of principles. Publicly, Nancy appears hard on China. For example, she calls for a diplomatic boycott of the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing in response to China's human rights record. But privately, Pelosi's husband has done a series of deals in mainland China. The fact is, China is trying to curry favour with high-ranking politicians in the United States. It's not just California Democrats like Pelosi, Feinstein, and Smallwell that have financial ties to China. Mitch McConnell also seems to have a massive conflict of interest. Nancy Pelosi is currently blocking investigations into Chinese coronavirus origins and American tax money sent to the Wuhan lab. Pelosi is trying to distract the public with yet another investigation into President Donald Trump, rather than focus on the actual origins of the worst pandemic in living memory and the economic devastation brought about by China. They say only the good die young. Nancy is living proof of this. Can anyone hold Nancy to account?
everyone who isn't us is an enemy.
But the Chinese, what they said is China would prefer Joe Biden. Whether they do, that's their conclusion.
Just what are your feelings about this person who you know quite well becoming Speaker of the House for a second time?
She'll cut your head off and you won't even know you're bleeding.